Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is a No Man's Sky video. Now, today's video is going to be another episode of This Week in No Man's Sky, which is a series aimed at supposedly covering the week's events in the community or No Man's Sky itself, and me giving my informal opinion on what I think of it all, and aiming to have a bit more of a relaxed kind of podcast style or maybe live stream-esque feel to the video. Now, I understand these are never on time, these are always at least a month late, and I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I can't get it on time, but regardless, today's episode of This Week in No Man's Sky is a different one, because instead of me going on about 3 different topics, and 2 of those topics being about No Man's Sky and the last one being about myself, I'm instead just going to spend a absolute load of time just talking about one simple point. This is going to be the entirety of the video, just one big point which I think we all need to address, and that is No Man's Sky's gameplay problem. The main issue with gameplay, why gameplay suffers and to be honest just does not exist. Now, I make this video almost as a response to LegacyZero's, I say recent, it was quite a while ago now, I think it was about 10 days ago or something crazy like that, but LZ made a video talking about how No Man's Sky has a gameplay problem. Now, I saw that when this video was released, a great deal of people in the community were agreeing, a lot of people were disagreeing, and generally there was a big old debate going on whether or not this video was accurate, if No Man's Sky does indeed have a gameplay problem, or if LZ is just making up bullshit for views. And having watched this video only today, I can confirm that he is not bullshitting. I never doubted that LZ would bullshit in the first place, but watching this video has solidified my opinion that this man has a load of common sense. A lot of common sense that a great deal of the No Man's Sky community either choose to ignore or simply don't have. Now, No Man's Sky has a lot of problems. You know, I'm going to be the first person to admit that No Man's Sky is not a perfect game. It has come in an absolute crazy way from what it was in 2016. There is no doubt about that. Hello Games have proven that game developers can still be ethical and committed and more focused on the game and not profits and fancy spreadsheets. I am not going to deny that for a second. You know, I will always rate No Man's Sky as one of my favourite games ever for so many different reasons, but the problem is No Man's Sky is not a perfect game, and I think as a community we at some points in time seem to forget or overlook the game's flaws. Now, I think a good reason why a lot of people in the community don't like admitting that No Man's Sky has issues, or they don't like criticising the game, is because that is what No Man's Sky was in 2016. It was just criticism. It was just people saying, this game is so disappointing, this game could have been so much more. And I think now we're in, you know, the present day, 2019, and the game has developed and things have changed and opinions have changed. We as a community kind of just ignore the fact that the game has issues because we spoke about that so much in 2016. I don't know if it's a fear of talking about something which is so taboo, or if it's because people just don't want to be reminded of 2016 No Man's Sky, but either way, the community has an issue where it is one extreme or the other. Now, I want to get to this before I get into the gameplay problem, which LZ talked about, because I think they both go hand in hand. Now, as I said, No Man's Sky has a issue where the community is either extremely good or extremely bad. No Man's Sky, generally speaking, never has any kind of lukewarm reviews or reception. You know, people don't go, it's okay, you know, it's a bit in the middle. You never really see those kind of comments and those kind of people. what you would genuinely tend to see in the community is someone commenting saying, this game is absolutely fucking beautiful. If I could, I would have sex with it and have little No Man's Sky babies. And then on the other side, you have people that go, this game is fucking dog shit. I wish it never existed. It gave me some kind of retina disease from playing it. The in-between of No Man's Sky doesn't seem to exist all that much, and particularly in terms of our community, our No Man's Sky community, those of us who have been with the game for years now, the one extreme which I always encounter is the extreme fanboyism. The fanboyism to the point where it's nauseating, where people just act like the game is 100% perfect. There's no flaws with it. Hello Games didn't fuck up, and Hello Games, can't be better. There are a lot of things that people just ignore for the sake of keeping things peaceful. I guess it's like the community is so afraid of some kind of civil war breaking out or some kind of conflict breaking out that everyone is overly optimistic and kind of rose-tinted glasses on, looking at No Man's Sky in a, unfavorably fanboy fashion. Now, I don't have an issue with this to a large extent, I don't see an issue with being that into a game and defending a game so much with all of your life. In fact, I think it's quite cute. I think it's quite nice. You don't tend to get games where the community is so goddamn passionate about it. But my problem with this extreme fanboyism when it comes to No Man's Sky is that people cannot take criticism. Now, we know about the modern day, we know about how sensitive people are, where you can't even make a joke at a comedy club or state a fact, a biological fact, without people getting pissed off, calling you a racist, a transphobic, a fucking homophobic person. Anything like that. People are extremely oversensitive and are always looking for something to get hurt about and something to complain about and something to allow them to victimize themselves. Now, I'm not saying that this makes the No Man's Sky community sensitive. I'm not saying people are out to, have conflict with everyone and they're looking for an excuse to be annoyed, but what this reminds me of is in some way the state of the No Man's Sky community. In particular, how if you were to make a No Man's Sky video talking about criticism of the game, a fair criticism video with, points that make sense, with points that aren't far-fetched or clickbait, or are just genuinely really good points with evidence and support and all of that stuff, people cannot accept that. They will be hurt that you are offending No Man's Sky. And this is why when I make videos, I always have to ensure that I don't outright say something that's going to piss people off. Prime example is a No Man's Sky VR video which I made, where I spoke about No Man's Sky VR and how I personally didn't think it was the best time to introduce VR. And I had an absolute boatload of comments coming in saying, you're so wrong, I bet you're a flat screen peasant, and all of this shit. And it makes me think, if you cannot take fair criticism, then you don't deserve to be a fan of No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky is such a journey of emotions when you play it. I have periods of time where I fucking love No Man's Sky and I play it all night, and I have other days where it just doesn't interest me. This is just a natural fluctuation of how No Man's Sky works, and if you aren't the kind of person that can take criticism and listen to ideas on how the game can be improved and actually accept that the game has some issues that need to be resolved, then again, you just don't belong in the community. You cannot fit into this community. And with that rant said and done, and I know people probably get pissed off, but that's my point exactly. People need to accept some things in the world. People need to become less fanboyish over No Man's Sky. Because even if you don't have the extreme fanboyism of No Man's Sky, you have the extreme haters. And again, there is barely a middle ground. I find it very rare to find a middle ground with No Man's Sky. But with all of that said and done, let's talk about this gameplay problem. Now, if you haven't seen LegacyZero's recent video, he makes a very fair, balanced, and completely subjective video, or objective, I think the correct word is, unbiased. I forget the word, subjective or objective. I haven't done English in fucking years, okay? Let me have it. But he made a very unbiased video, very on the fence, just talking about how No Man's Sky is, yes, a great game. It has come a long way. It has developed beyond our wildest dreams, but it is not perfect, and like a lot of things, it does need improving. And LegacyZero video, which again, extremely fair, extremely balanced, barely biased in the slightest, and people still got pissed off about it, basically says that No Man's Sky lacks gameplay, it lacks a hook, it lacks a risk-reward system in the base game. Now, there is a lot to that video, and I will link it in the description if you have not seen it already, because there are a load of good points, and he uses a lot of analogies and metaphors to explain things which I can't quite understand, mainly to do with the carrot and the stick, stuff which I'm just a little too slow to understand. So the video will be in the description for you to watch in its entirety, and I recommend you do, because he put a lot of time into it and he makes a lot of fucking good points. But as I was saying, LegacyZero in this video compares No Man's Sky to Minecraft. Now, I think this is a very fair comparison. I have compared No Man's Sky to Minecraft a load in recent videos, because the game is in a fairly same situation as Minecraft. You know, a game that released with a hook, it had a central idea, but it just needed a little bit more content. I guess it was a bit kind of tech demo-esque when it released. It was a bit like, here's an idea, but there isn't really much to it. No Man's Sky is very similar to Minecraft, and naturally LegacyZero compared the two. Now, he goes on this really large explanation of how Minecraft has an excellent risk-reward system, how Minecraft always has something to work towards, how No Man's Sky, or Minecraft, or I'm getting confused myself now, how Minecraft is basically a perfect gameplay loop. How there's never a point in Minecraft where you're kind of just aimlessly wandering around like, what do I do next? Now, LZ used the prime example of caves in Minecraft. Now, obviously we have caves in No Man's Sky as well, and this is how the two compare, because LZ says that when you go into a cave in Minecraft, you're presented immediately with a load of different things. First of all, you have the procedural nature of a cave. This cave is slightly different to the last one. This cave branches off in different directions. This cave has water, lava, there's a ravine to the far right of it, or what have you. Second of all, there is an immediate danger. There is darkness, there is a need for a torch, there is need for a weapon. There will be mobs, you know, zombies, skeletons, creepers, endermen, possibly in this cave, and you will have to fight them off whilst just walking through it. You cannot just walk through a cave peacefully in Minecraft, unless of course you are playing on peaceful. And then of course there is the main addition, that caves house resources. They house something which you need for the gameplay of Minecraft. In Minecraft you need cobblestone. This cobblestone then lets you mine iron, and once you've mined iron you can mine diamonds, and then once you mine diamonds you can get whatever the fuck you want, basically. So Minecraft has this continuous gameplay loop of everything leads to something else, basically. And Minecraft caves are the perfect example of what No Man's Sky could and at the moment does not do. As in, there are a multitude of different reasons to go into a cave, to explore every nook and cranny of that cave, and not find that boring or tedious. I mean, I've only touched the surface level of caves, you know, no pun intended. There are now, which I didn't even know, you know, crazy ass dungeons in caves in Minecraft. You know, we have like mines and all of this crazy shit, you know, going on. There's a lot of stuff going in the caves, and again, No Man's Sky, where is that? This is where LZ draws the comparison, because he said, you know, whereas in Minecraft you go down, you get resources, you get anything which you need in order to progress, you know, better minerals to upgrade your armor, or get a new pickaxe or a new tool, or get a chest or a mob spawner or something like that. Whereas in No Man's Sky, you go into a cave because it looks cool. because there's subterranean relics and there's about 4 of them which you can sell, and that's about it. I can think the only reason to go into a cave in No Man's Sky that is actually needed is to get cobalt or cobalt, however you say it. That's about the only genuine reason I can think why you have to go into a cave in No Man's Sky. The rest of it is just not needed. It's just completely up to you. So the main issue with No Man's Sky is down to this problem where, yes, there is something, but it leads to nothing. You are doing all of this stuff, but really when you come out of it, you are absolutely no different than when you first started. Again, prime example is a cave. You go into a cave and you get a bit of, cobalt, you get some subterranean relics, but that's it. You don't encounter danger. You don't really get lost because you can generally just mine upwards, and they look largely the same. There is absolutely no point in going into a cave in No Man's Sky, as I said, apart from cobalt. But this really goes for the rest of the game, and this is where the exploration problem also comes in, because why are you genuinely exploring in No Man's Sky? I mean, you are going to all of these different planets to maybe find something unique. Okay, once you've found that, then what do? You scan it, you rename it, and you go to the next planet, and so forth. You rinse and repeat that, occasionally mining some things on the way, occasionally building a base, or getting a new multi-tool, or something like that. But all of this is for nothing. There is no end game. There is no reason to get extremely overpowered with great gear and a great ship and a full maxed out inventory, because you are just going to be doing exactly what you did in the first place in order to get to that overpowered state. This is the problem No Man's Sky has. This is the biggest issue that the game faces, where you sink, stupid amounts of hours into getting good gear and getting to the center of the galaxy, but nothing happens. Nothing changes. There is no challenge along the way, at least in normal. You don't fight anything. You don't feel yourself getting physically stronger and less afraid and all of that stuff. Again, linking it back to Minecraft. Minecraft has an end game. It's going to the... Fuck, I forgot the name. Fighting the Ender Dragon. Can't remember the location, but you make an Ender portal and you go and you fight the dragon, and that is basically the story of Minecraft complete. But then you have the Nether as well. You go there to get netherrack so you can make a fireplace, you can fight ghast to get stuff for potions and so forth. But No Man's Sky doesn't have that, There is no reason to get the best minerals in the game and loads of money in the game, because again, what is that going towards? Genuinely, if you get to the center, then you're doing it all over again. So really, No Man's Sky needs a reward for doing what you do, because a reward isn't just finding a mountain and going, that's a cool mountain, because after a while that gets very fucking boring. The first few times you explore a planet and you find stuff you haven't seen before is amazing, and the problem lays in the fact that this idea of exploration, this idea about the gameplay loop of No Man's Sky being solely based on seeing stuff, just isn't all that fun, at least not with the current limited procedural generation, because the repetitiveness gets to the point where you have to stop playing the game because you are quite frankly bored. And the amount of times I have found myself playing No Man's Sky and going, I'm not actually sure what I do now. This is something which I say on my streams all the time, and I've seen a lot of people comment this as well. For me, when I play No Man's Sky and I have a big save file, it gets to the point where I just delete the save file and start again, because there is no goal. I have got a good ship, I've got a good multi-tool, I've got a lot of units, I have loads of upgrades, but that's it. There's nothing else to work towards. I don't give a shit about getting to the center of the galaxy. There's no point. I'm just going to be doing it all over again. So I often find myself just constantly deleting saves and restarting, because honestly, the first, few hours of No Man's Sky are by far the best. That is when you are, completely underpowered. You have the shit multi-tool, the shit ship. There is a load of resource grinding and ranking up and feeling like you're getting better is one of the best parts of No Man's Sky. Starting a new game is what I want the whole of the game to be like. Now, I guess a lot of you say, okay, Dan, you know, you're making this point, you don't do anything in No Man's Sky. There's no structure to it, you don't follow anything, you know, there isn't something that motivates you to keep going. Oh, what about the story? What about the main story? What about the Abyss story? What about all of that? Okay, fair enough, okay, yes, No Man's Sky has a story. Atlas Rises improved the story by incredible amounts, up to 30 hours of content, and I get that, you know, I'm not generally big on the story in No Man's Sky because I prefer just going about my own devices and just sort of doing whatever the fuck I want. But the story is there, and the story is there for those that want to be, you know, stringed along and shown something to do. And there isn't anything wrong with that by any means. I just think the story, again, lacks a meaning. You know, you're doing these quests to progress the story, to maybe get a few items and allow you to build a base or whatever, but that's really it. You know, there isn't some final endgame boss, there isn't some crazy state of change at the end of the game where things feel completely different. To me, at least, it doesn't feel like you accomplish much doing the story apart from being an errand boy and apart from running from A to B, getting something for X and grabbing something for Y and so forth. So again, linking back to Minecraft, No Man's Sky can add as many sugar-coated features it wants. It can add as many fluffy little toppings to the game, like rainbows and salvageable scrap. And yeah, that's cool, okay? Like, the first time I played, you know, Visions and I found some fucking scrap in the floor, I was like, cool. That's cool. And then after the few times, you come to realise that it looks the same each time. Your only purpose in doing it is to sell in it, but then once you've sold it, then where does that money go? It doesn't quite go anywhere. So, taking inspiration from Minecraft, okay? No Man's Sky needs this reward system. What this reward system might be is anyone's guess. Could be loot, for example. A lot of people have spoken about this. You know, maybe going into caves, you can find old crates, kind of like the ones which you dig up on ruins. And maybe inside these crates, you can get possibly a new multi-tool or maybe a new piece of cosmetic gear. This would give you a reason to explore. There would be parts of planets that would actually house, you know, gear or ships that are just free, or add-ons or something like that. Because again, at the current point in No Man's Sky, you are exploring for the sake of exploring, and that is it. So guys, really that is all I have to say on the matter. I do hope that you guys enjoyed, and I do hope that you agreed with me, at least to some extent. As always, if you did enjoy, then please do feel free to leave a like on the video. And if you guys could also subscribe to MZK, then that'd be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot, signing out.